list, I have Professor G.I.C. Nwaka, who is the Vice President, Nigeria Institute of Soil Science. On my list also, I have Professor Victor Okechukwu Chudi, Registrar CEO, Nigeria Institute of Soil Science. Next on my list, I have Dr. Donald Madukwe, Senior Agronomist, OCP Africa. Next on my list, I have Dr. Andrew Kwasari, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Agriculture. It's on his way. On my list also, I have Professor B.A. Raji, who is the President, Soil Science Society of Nigeria.
It is also my pleasure to recognize the Director, Agricultural and Climate Change Management Services. Okay, maybe it's still coming. We have the Director of Farm Input Support Services, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. So you're welcome. We have the Director, Planning Policy Coordination, FMAC. Okay, still on his way. We have the Director, Federal Department. She will join us soon, possibly. We'll have Dr. Peter C. Ipozo, a member of this Governing Council. In absentia, he will join us soon. We have Mr. Rasak Adekola, he's also a member of this Governing Council. You have him here? Okay. I'm also pleased to announce the presence of Dr. Kehinde Makinde, Agri Country Manager, Nigeria. We have Mr. Mohammed Salisi Idris, Country Rep, IFDC. Next on my list is Kingsley Uzoma, Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. I hope these ones are still coming. We also have Malam Samaila Yusuf, Tony Institute for Global Change. Representative Science and Technology, represented in the persons of Dr. Jubril Sule. You're welcome. We also have Engineer McQueen, HL. Okay. We have Engineer Chukuma, GO, all representing the Honorable Minister of Science and Tech. We also want to recognize the presence of Professor James Yayoba. Okay. We also have in our list Professor James A. Adidaron. So you are welcome. Happy to have you around. We also have Professor A.O. Osunde. Professor Osunde, you are welcome, sir. We have Professor Trenchard Ibia. So you're highly welcome. We have Professor Damian Asawalam on his way shortly. We have the HOD, Department of Soil Science, University of Abuja. Can you join us soon? We also have the HOD, Department of Soil Science, Nasarawa State University. We have the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Nasarawa State University. And last on my list is Dr. Innocent Mwokoma Onyepere, the head of station, and you're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. You are all welcome to this. Okay, may we recognize the presence of Dr. Peter C. Ipozo. He's a member of this Governing Council. You are highly welcome, sir. We sincerely welcome you. I would like to hand over the mic to Mrs. Mary to tell us why we are here.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, why are we here? By way of introduction, OCP Africa Fertilizers Nigeria Limited is a limited liability company incorporated under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with Mr. Hetiti Mohammed as the managing director. And he is ably represented here by Mr. Kolawole Asana Oluwatoba Asana. I'm sorry for that mix-up. Oluwatoba Asana is representing Mr. Caleb Uso, Country Manager, OCP Africa, at today's signing ceremony. The Nigerian Institute of Soil Science, on the other hand, is an agency of government under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, established by the Nigeria Institute of Soil Science Establishment Act of 2017. NIS is duly represented here by Professor Victor Okechukwu Chudi as the Registrar CEO. Now, the two parties share a common interest in developing sustainable and innovative solutions to address key barriers to the full realization of the agricultural growth potential in Nigeria. To this end, both parties have expressed their mutual interest in working on the dissemination of innovation and technologies for managing problematic soils in Nigeria. OCP Africa undertakes to provide for the partner the funding for the conduct of the project in accordance with the terms of this agreement. OCP Africa will also provide any relevant information and assistance which are reasonably necessary to conduct the project, particularly with respect to the types of materials needed for the project. In addition, a team from OCP Africa will participate in the monitoring and the follow-up of the project activities. NIS, on the other hand, undertakes, NIS here, I mean Nigeria Institute of Soil Science, undertakes to organize and conduct stakeholders inception workshop and technical committee meetings. It will also carry out soil sampling and analysis if necessary, and according to the representativeness of the samples already collected, conduct of field assessment for data collection and analysis, formulate and validate appropriate balanced blends of fertilizers for problematic soils, conduct capacity building workshops for farmers and extension agents, conduct an end of project workshop, create awareness and ensure the successful deployment of the innovation within Nigeria and amongst Nigerian farmers for the realization of site-specific nutrient recommendations, organize field days during the key steps of the growth to disseminate best agricultural practices to farmers and show them the importance of soil analysis with respect to problematic soils. In close collaboration with OCP Africa, provide the overall scientific, technical coordination and supervision of the project and provide overall technical direction in reliance on the agricultural scientific expertise. Upon request by OCP Africa, prepare the research proposal in close collaboration with OCP Africa with the details of the experimental procedure. Nominate scientists to ensure the supervision, design, and the conduct of validation trials for the developed fertilizer recommendations in the selected areas with the participation of OCP Africa team. Nominate scientists to ensure the supervision, design, and conduct of validation trials for the developed fertilizer recommendations in the selected areas with the participation of OCP Africa team. Undertake the validation of the materials provided by OCP Africa, the planning, the preparing, and conducting of the fertilizer validation trials. Manage the projects to be executed, collect and handle relevant data with regards to fertilizer development and validation trials with the materials. Upon request by OCP Africa, prepare the research proposal in close collaboration with OCP Africa with the details of the experimental procedure. NIS will nominate scientists to ensure the design and the conduct of omission trials to develop our own fertilizer recommendations in the selected areas and for targeted groups, crops with the participation of OCP Africa team. Ensure that soil and plant samples are collected, processed, and analyzed at a fee and laboratory recommended by OCP Africa. NIS will make available research facilities and human resources needed in order to perform the planned activities and training manuals for main crops production in Nigeria. That is the extension agent licenses and authorizations from local government authorities and communities that may be required for the conduct of the project. NIS will facilitate access for OCP Africa to visit the laboratory and field activities for the purpose of following up and evaluating the work carried out for the project. This access will enable OCP Africa to conduct at any reasonable time and at OCP Africa's sole discretion and expense any such activity that OCP Africa is necessary for project follow-up. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I'd like to invite the two parties, OCP Africa and NIS, to sign the MOU. Put your hands together.
As we are waiting for the signing, we are happy to announce the presence of the following people here. The HOD Department of Soil Science, University of Abuja. Ma'am, we're happy to have you around. We also have Barrister Nike Ubube, the Clark House Committee on Agri Colleges and Institutions. You're welcome, ma'am. And lastly, we have Professor Ayu Baka, consultant to the House. Welcome.
I'm signing this agreement on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development for the good of our farmers in Nigeria.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to call on the registrar, the CEO, Nigeria Institute of Soil Science, in the person of Professor Victor Ochude, to give us the project brief on disseminating innovation and technology for managing problematic soils in Nigeria. Prof. Please, can we give him a round of applause as he comes?
So shaking for Nyafara. Just stay here. Be doing it yourself. Me now, okay. I want to be doing the changing of slide.
Where's the microphone? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the protocol that has already been established. Our Permanent Secretary, the Chairman, House Committee on Colleges and Institutions. My presentation is in every folder. I'm going to speak on what the project is all about. The structure of my presentation, I'll take the field assessment, formulation of appropriate balanced fertilizer blends, demonstration, diffusion and sensitization, capacity building and technical by stopping at state level. This is the details of what the MC read out before the signing of the agreement. Then we'll look at major outputs. Who are the primary beneficiaries of this project? NIST is not alone. We have partners and we have collaborators. The overall goal of the project is to improve soil quality and sustainability and increase agricultural productivity through effective sustainable management of problematic soils. They are acid soils, alkaline, and sodic in places where they exist. The first objective of field assessment is a field assessment of soil fertility status. This has to be done by carrying out soil surveys, that is fertility surveys. We're referring to data collection, analysis of samples, using appropriate methods in target areas to promote formulation of crop and site specific fertilizer blends. Currently in Nigeria, blanket recommendation of fertilizer is the in thing, and this is not right. Fertilizers can only be effective on crops when they target one, the crop requirement, and then secondly, the soil requirements. In places where phosphorus is already high in the soil, which can only be determined or confirmed through soil analysis, you don't need to. When I say high, high as defined by the critical levels of the nutrient. If you go ahead and apply phosphorus fertilizer in such a soil, you're going to create nutrient imbalance. And people have been wondering, so much investment has been made on fertilizer use in this country, and yet farmers' yields are still very low. This is because the fertilizer regulations are not properly targeted. There are efforts going on to redress the situation, but this project will upscale what is currently going on to make sure that, well, let me also mention last week we were here under the invitation of the Federal Department of Agricultural Land Resources and Climate Change to talk about similar approach. Collectively, with this project, there will be turnaround. Turnaround in the sense that farmers will then henceforth get fertilizers that are meant for their soils and for their crops. Fertilizer that is suitable for maize will not be suitable for leguminous crops. So let's take note. There will be interpretation and dissemination of research findings to farmers for improved production. Of course, when we generate data, you don't keep it to yourselves. Through extension agents, what is also happening that the Ministry of Agriculture, the current Minister of Agriculture, is doing a lot to promote extension, train extension agents so that they will deliver to farmers improved technologies that will turn around their fortune and make farming profitable. We're going to promote rapid sustainability of high quality soil through scientific methods and what we're talking about research, because if you don't conduct research, then you will not come up with innovations that will change the status quo. Distribution and capacity building on the use of sustainable soil management tools, such as the soil test kits that provide quick and reliable on-farm results of tested soils. Presently, the Nigerian Institute of Soil Sciences promoting the use of soil test kits at the zonal level. The zonal coordinators of the institute are here. We're going to work with land resources to make sure that soil test kits that can do a quick analysis of soils, so you don't have to wait. Farmers don't have to take the samples to ABU's area, which is so many kilometers away, to analyze their soils. Extension agents will be trained to do a quick analysis or reliable analysis that will give reliable results for them to formulate appropriate fertilizer that will impact positively on their farms. All these, the Soil Science Society of Nigeria, in collaboration, working with the Soil Science Society of Nigeria and the Institute, Soil Science of Nigeria is the mother society of the Institute. The society gave birth to the Institute. So We're going to do a baseline surveys. In fact, everything we're doing under this project is in collaboration with the society. What am I talking about? All members of the institute are members of the Society of Nigeria, so we're the same thing. Now, the intervention states across the 6 geographical zones of the country. In the southeast, for this particular project, with time, it will be expanded, it will be upscaled. We have Anambra and Abia. In the south, we have Bayelsa and Akwa Ibom. In the southwest, Ekiti State and Ogun. In the north central, Nasarawa State and Kogi State. In the northwest, we have Sokoto and Kebbi. In the northeast, Taraba and Gombe. This is with the aim of gathering a compendium of gaps and what? Well, soil data to support the development of effective soil management practices. I've already mentioned the crop and site-specific fertilizer blends. Next. While formulation of appropriate blends will be based on soil analysis. Next. The on-farm demonstration will target crops such as rice, maize, cassava, and vegetable crops. Next. The total number of demonstrations that will be established was 360. The technology diffusion and sensitization would follow the normal procedure, sound interpretation recommendation, and dissemination of findings from the demonstration plots managed. The normal thing, when there are obvious signs of response of treatment by crops, will bring farmers. That is called the Farmers Field Day. There will be exchange of farmers from one demonstration plot to the other. They are all part of learning process. The private sector, financial institutions, and policymakers will be involved in all that we're going to do. Because at the end of the day, we would expect the banks to support farmers. Otherwise, you develop technologies, farmers will not have the means. So the banks from the beginning, I didn't mention it, but they are part of this project. For success stories, we expect the banks to support farmers so that they will upscale, the technologies developed, and that will translate to increase productivity, more revenue to farmers, and that will encourage farmers to remain in business. Yeah, next. While capacity building, I've mentioned it, we're going to conduct a lot of trainings of ADPs and officials of the State Ministry of Agriculture, so that when the project ends, they will continue. That's part of the sustainability plan, well built into the projects. Most projects come in for 1 or 2 years, and when they leave, everything goes down. And farmers will say, I wish if it were those days when the World Bank was here, if it were those days, we will make sure that we'll carry the state governments along with us. Whatever findings we produce will be part of the policy of state governments, so that when one administration leaves, it will not go. Our findings, our efforts will not go with that administration, because it's already been documented. So, the National Assembly of the states we've mentioned will be part of the monitoring of all the projects, so that they will reflect it as policies in policy documents, agricultural policy documents of the states for continuity. It's all part of capacity building. The good agricultural practices is not just fertilizer. Fertilizer alone will not do it. When is it appropriate to plant? What varieties are appropriate for those areas? What about the agricultural, the agronomic practices? All this will be taught to farmers. And that goes right up to harvesting and post-harvesting. So it's a whole chain. Yes, we are soil fertility experts, or we're going to work with our colleagues along the line in the chain to make sure that from production to marketing are all taken care of. That is part of the empowerment that we're going to give to farmers. Next, this is the inception workshop. Monitoring. I've mentioned those who are going to be involved in monitoring. Continue. The green-brown days, the number of demonstrations. These are all major outputs that I've already mentioned. The production of manuals, publications, scientific publications will be part of it. Well, the development of extension agents. Since extension agents and agriculture officers are going to be involved, of course, we have proper documentation of all the extension agents in the states that are part of the project for continuity. The number of workshops that we organize, yes, we're organizing one now. At the end of the project, we're going to have another one where we will share the findings with policymakers, financial institutions, the NGO, civil society, so that becomes a living memory. Next. Well, talking about, I've mentioned the primary beneficiaries, the farmers, state governments, all those who are related, stakeholders that are interested in agriculture, both production and financing. Well, who are our partners? We have several research institutes. Vadegi, go on. We have the National Root Crop Research Institute, NCRI. Innocent is here. We have the Federal Department of Land Resources, Agricultural Land Resources and Climate Change. The director is here. He has been fully briefed. We have the Farm Input Support Services Department. The director is here. Engineer Bello, he's been fully briefed on the role they will play. Then the National Program for Food Security in the Ministry of Agriculture. This is one project that has a lot of success stories to tell. So that project, I'm praying that the ministry supports, the PAPSEC is here, that the ministry supports this project, because this project has made a lot of impact over the past, 2 decades or so. I'm aware that the offices of this project in the States are still there with staff, so they will play a major role in workshop, in monitoring, and policy formulation. Then the ADPs have already mentioned for the 2 states in this first phase of the project. I've mentioned the policymakers at the states and the federal level. Community-based organizations has also been mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
We sincerely thank you, Professor Victor, for that brief. Please, can we give him a round of applause for that wonderful presentation? It's time for us to listen to the statement of commitments by OCP Africa. We want to invite Mr. Caleb Uso, the country manager Nigeria and the deputy managing director OCP Africa. But today he's represented by Mr. Oluwatoba Asana. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. The Chairman Senate Committee on Agriculture, the Chairman House Committee on Agriculture, the House Committee Chairman of Colleges and Institutions, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, all present Commissioners of Agriculture from Ekiti State, Ogun, Sokoto, and Kaduna States. Please permit me to stay on existing protocol. My name is Oluwatoba Asana. I represent Mr. Caleb Uso, the country manager for OCP Africa. I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion, the reception workshop organized by OCP Africa and the Nigeria Institute of Soil Science, NIST, to mark the kickoff of the project, disseminating innovative technologies for managing problematic soils in Nigeria. I am particularly elated that today's event is yet another demonstration of OCP Africa's avowed commitment to see to the development of Nigeria's agricultural ecosystem. We know that the average productivity per hectare of farmlands in Nigeria is very low and has been attributed mostly to soil conditions. This invariably is one of the reasons for food insecurity and poverty within the farming community in Nigeria. Problematic soils come in one or two of acidic or alkaline or saline soils. They are soils in which plant root system does not grow normally due to toxic hydrogen ions. Permeability of plant membranes is adversely affected due to the low soil pH. Enzyme actions may be altered since they are sensitive to pH fluctuations. There are soils in which aluminum, manganese, and iron are available in toxic quantities. In problematic soils, phosphorus gets immobilized and its availability is reduced. And most of the activities of beneficial pre-organisms like Azotobacter and nodule-forming bacteria of legumes are adversely affected in acidic as acidity increases. Management of problematic soils should be directed towards enhanced crop productivity, either through addition of soil amendments to correct the anomalies or by manipulating the agronomy practices depending upon the climatic and idiopathic conditions. However, this calls for a multidisciplinary approach. Agronomy should be considered, breeding should be considered, nutrition should be considered, as it is required to breed system types on the different locations, most of an aluminum toxicity. There is therefore a need to maintain a good soil health for increased and sustained agricultural production. Soil health, which is often referred to as soil quality, is the continued capacity of soil to function as a vital living ecosystem that sustains plants, animals, and humans. Without the soil, humans cannot survive. This definition speaks to the importance of this project, managing soils so that they are sustainable Managing soils so that they are sustainable for future generation is a collective responsibility, and there is no better time to rise to the challenge than this time. We understand the enormity of this initiative and applaud the dedication of NIST to see it through with OCP Africa. The outcome of this initiative is expected to impact on the growth of agriculture in Nigeria generally. We hereby call on all stakeholders in agriculture, governments, donor agencies, developmental agencies, farmers, and the farming community as a whole to support this laudable objective project, as it requires the collective effort of all to achieve its aim. So this project aligns with all our numerous other OCP Africa farmer-centric projects aimed at bringing precision to practice of agriculture in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Some of our farmer-centric projects include the OCP School Lab, soil survey and specialty fertilizer development, digital soil mapping, and enhancing distribution of farm inputs to underserved farming communities through our farm and fortune hubs across the country. We realize that beyond the supply of fertilizers and other farm inputs, there is the need to bridge the education gap by providing our extension workers with the necessary capacity to guide our farmers. This includes, but not limited to, the knowledge and management of problematic soils via sustainable agronomic practices. We appreciate our technical partner, NIST, the Nigerian Institute of Soil Science, for proposing this project and offering to provide all necessary technical support towards making the project a reality. We as well use this opportunity to assure everybody here present today our commitments towards the realization of this project and partnership in Nigeria. We express our sincere gratitude to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, especially the Department of Farm Inputs Support Services, for the enormous support that we have enjoyed on this project and all our other projects in OCP Africa. I welcome you all once again to this workshop, where workable solutions will be provided towards solving the issues of problematic soils in Nigeria, and our farmers can be happy with their yields. We feed this soil to feed the planet. Thank you for your time.
We appreciate the part you play. It is time for us to enjoy the goodwill messages. And first, we'll be listening to Honorable Monil Baba Danagundi, the Chairman, House Committee on Colleges and Institutions, to give us the first goodwill message. Can we give him?
The problem development, the registry, the representative manager, OCP, directors, other distinguished by delegates on the high table, participants. Good morning. I am State, and by the Director of Cultural Colleges and Institutions. Nigerian Institute of Soil Science is oversighted by the committee. And I would like to read the book. I'm honored to be invited to present a goodwill message at this auspicious occasion. Let me first congratulate and OCP for the laudable initiative by working together to find the problem solved. I'm glad to know that the partnership will bring about improved dissemination of innovation and technology. As a farmer, I know that saline and alkali soils are becoming prevalent in irrigated my brother country had to contend with acid soils and erosion due largely to heavy rainfall regime. Waterlogged soils and high water table are twin problems that reduce the productivity of soils in Nigeria. Desert encroachment and aridity are equally major problems, particularly in states bordering Niger and Chad republics. Good arable lands are lost annually to desert encroachment. I would like to use this opportunity to call on the federal government of Nigeria to address this problem promptly to save communities affected by this problem. The amelioration and management of problem soils will no doubt result in considerable improvement of crop yields and consequently increase food security. The technologies and innovation should be scaled up to reach as many farmers as possible. To a small-scale farmer, today's event means reduced poverty, increased household income, and employment opportunities through more land becoming available for production. My committee will continue to collaborate with the NISS and OCB to make laws that will positively impact on agricultural growth and development in Nigeria. We shall continue to follow up to ensure full implementation of the terms of agreements by both you through appropriate oversight. Nigeria has the capacity not only to feed itself, but the whole of the West African sub-region. We shall ensure that all agricultural potentials are exploited to achieve food security for the country. I wish you successful deliberations of work plan and other deliverables that will ensure the success of the project. Thank you very much. Before I sit down, I have just from my speech, I have observed from the targeted areas that you intend to conduct the research. I have mentioned one of the problem areas in Nigeria where we have desert encroachment, especially if you take the northeastern part of the country. When you are selecting the states, you took Taraba and Gombe, which are much more productive, one of the most productive areas in Nigeria as a farmer, without telling me the condition of the soils. Because I've been, and we know some of the problematic ones, Yobe State. So I think there is need for the Institute and the other partners to look at some of these places so that we can address the country from end to end, so that we will have a clear idea of what is happening. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Dan Agundi. We appreciate your goodwill message. We still have another goodwill message by Hajia Halima Lawal, the Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture of Kaduna State, represented by Malam Yao Kasimu. You are welcome.
The chairman of the occasion, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My commissioner wanted to be here up to 4 p.m. yesterday, but due to high activities in her office, she was not able to be here. But she with good message. Good morning, distinguished participants. The Kaduna State government is enthused by the Nigerian Institute of Soil Science of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the OCP of Fertilizer Limited. The soil nutrient depletion and population increase have caused per capita food production to decrease over the past 30 years in the sub-Saharan Africa. The importance of improving the productivity of the cropping system while maintaining or improving the soil fertility cannot be overemphasized, especially in this pandemic era. It is therefore important that we join hands together in developing the sustainable solution that will ensure the desired growth in the agricultural sector. On that account, I wish to extend the gratitude of the Kaduna State government to the Nigerian Institute of Soil Science and OCP, Africa Fertilizer Limited, for initiating this laudable project that is aimed at addressing the numerous challenges facing the Nigerian soils. This will no doubt transform food and nutrition security, socio-economic development, as well as public safety and national security. Be rest assured that Kaduna State will leave no stone unturned in realizing the goods of this auspicious project. The line with the policy collection. And a final note, the Kaduna State is committed to the expansion of agricultural production in the state, and we are optimistic that the goals and objectives of the disseminating innovation and technology for managing romantic soils in Nigeria are achieved with the collective effort of all stakeholders in the sector. Wishing you all a productive convening, and thank you. From my own side, being in the system from Kaduna State, I was ADP as a program manager, and now the director of the I think it has both in the extension activities. Now the awareness is now in the rural areas that blanket recommendation we used to give them, that 6 bags of NPK to 1 hectare or 2 bags of urea to 1 hectare is no longer true, because there is a test or an analysis done in a one-woman farm. We asked her, how many bags do you apply here? She said she applied only 6 bags of fertilizer NPK as a first dose. Then she added up, during the adding up, she applied 2 bags of urea. And what do you used to have in 1 hectare? She said she used to have 18 bags, sometimes 20 bags. But the analysis, that is the solution. After the soil analysis, said that she's supposed to use 9 bags of NPK and 4 bags of urea, because she has been using the land for so many years and the same crop, maize all the time. You know the habit of maize. So that very year, she followed that. And the OCP assisted her with some little bags so that they make sure they follow the directives given to her. So she was able to get 48 bags of maize at that first year. And by so doing, our brothers from Bauchi come to Kaduna to see how they can reach to OCP. After putting them through, the OCP are there in Bauchi. Then our brothers and our kids from Kano, they come to say that they want to join us, because we used to be in Kano. So they came with OCP and Jigawa and they're all there. And the production there is now different with what they used to get. I'm sorry, Honorable, whenever I see you there, we used to say much about you from Kano. So don't mind me, you're welcome. So I'm just trying to say, this is welcome, idea and initiative. The population of the country is increasing too much, most especially the northern part. If we cannot feed ourselves with this usage of simple, using this 6 bags or whatever without knowing even the quality and the standard, we are not going anywhere. And this chart, Niger and Cameroon, in fact, they depend on Nigeria. They depend on what we eat. So the moment you are not producing more, you continue to have a problem. But I think the answer, despite the challenges, we have to move from just soil analysis and giving solution to it. If you know the soil analysis or your soil strength, I think it's good to go or regenerate to agriculture or regenerative agriculture. That is, let us go back to check our farming system, because the farming system will have challenges there. You see, all those things that we do it right from the beginning, what we saw our parents doing, and the people to put farmers through are no longer there. We are expected extension agent to just serve 1,000 farmers, but most states now you see that extension agent is serving 5,000 to 9,000 farmers, which is not possible. And also, the institution, these the schools that our children are graduating now, what the schools are giving them is not enough. Maybe you have to go there to know what these people are giving and what they are coming out with. Without doing that, in fact, the effort will be defeated. So I think we have to address the extension system, the schools, the institutes, and now, like in Kaduna State, the farmer cannot just go and say that I'm applying that, because I think the whole 23 local governments that we have and the 255 wards, this OCP has touched that place. And locally enough, we have a support from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation called AGRA, a consortium whereby the National Food Security, the IAR, ABU Zaria, and the PEPSA are there working to see how they can come up with fertilizer specific for the crop. So thank you very much for what I've said.
Well, thank you so much, Malam Kasimu. And we also thank you for the experience and tips you shared with us. We have almost come to the end of this Inception workshop. And now, it is my honor to invite Dr. Ernest A. Omaihe, the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, to give us his remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. I want to stand on the long list of protocol for those present and those we are told are still on the wait. But I must particularly make exception for Dangudi, the chairman of colleges. I've always known his passion for agricultural research and production, and it's always with us on occasions like this. And of course, the two teams that brought us together, Country Director Dr. Asana, sorry, Mr. Asana of the OPC, and of course, the Registrar of the Nigeria Institute of Soil Sciences, Professor Chude. It is with great pleasure I welcome you all to this Inception workshop on disseminating innovation and technologies for managing problematic soils in Nigeria. The proposed project is focusing on the correction of problematic soils for disseminating technologies for managing them. There is undisputed evidence that we have large areas of land in Nigeria with soils that are no longer productive or have very low productivity. We have the dry land soils in the extreme northern part of the country and the wetlands and acid sands in the south. In most cases, such soils are either abandoned by farmers or used for cropping with very poor returns. This initiative will certainly address these problems and restore the productive capacity of the soils in this category. We are all aware that the areas of land available for farming in the country is not increasing because of the heavy pressure on land for many non-agricultural purposes as a result of a rapidly growing population. We therefore have to explore ways and means of reclaiming our previously productive arable lands and take necessary steps to prevent abandonment of farmlands as a result of low productivity. We need to ease the pains and drudgery experienced by our farmers who are compelled to cultivate these problematic soils. Agriculture suffers from many limitations, most of which are environmental in nature, while others are anthropogenic. Major soil constraints, which include soil erosion, salinity, flooding, declining soil fertility, desertification, leaching of nutrients, etc., reduce the productivity of our soils. In addition, the issue of problematic soils is also there to contend with. Such soils include those with permeability problems, those with surface crusting, and those with hard pan in the subsoil. Others include shallow soils, heavy clay soils, and salt-affected soils. When these groups of soils are used for crop production, the pains and drudgery the farmer will experience and resultant poor output are better imagined. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is making concerted efforts to address the problems of our farmers, particularly in the way these problems affect resource-poor smallholders. Of major concern is the suitability of our soils for the cultivation of crops in locations with comparative advantage. This project on disseminating innovation and technologies for managing problematic soils in Nigeria is therefore important to us because it holds immense potentials for our agricultural sector. The methodologies for the proposed project should focus on those technologies that would address the challenges of problematic soils in agriculture while not overlooking the root causes. Please bear in mind the need to preserve our environment as you deploy these technologies and innovations for soil amelioration so that our ecosystem is not adversely affected. The technologies to be introduced should be such that our farmers can easily adopt and implement at very minimal cost. Permit me to use this opportunity to commend the Nigeria Institute of Soil Science for this bold initiative, which will be implemented in collaboration with OCP Africa, a company with international reputation in agricultural innovations. This project will go a long way in complementing the renewed efforts of the ministry aimed at introducing modern farming techniques to our farmers and empowering them to enable rapid adoption. We need to educate our farmers continuously on the importance of observing land use and land suitability requirements as it relates to the choice of crops to be planted in a given location. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, participants, I wish us positive outcomes in our deliberations, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Ernest Umahi, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, for honoring this invitation and for these warm remarks. Thank you so much, sir. The floor is now open for general discussions. We want to share our concerns, contributions, tips. So the floor is open. Want to listen to us? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Group photograph.
Where?
I think this place is nice.
Zona commanders, come. Honorable. Let's go on.
Thank you.
Don't look one side. No, but this one comes up. This is on one side.
So this one will be clear.
Okay, the inception workshop is not over yet. We still have 2 minutes.
We're told that lunch will be ready 12:30, so let's talk. 12:30, but if you don't want to take lunch, just leave a reservation that we can eat your food. Professor Waka, where are you going to?
This year.
Professor Waka, it's your turn to make a comment, please.
Okay.
According to the program.
Is that so?
Yes. You're all welcome. Now, I want to compliment NIS and OCP for this exercise. See, one of the problems of the world, especially Nigeria, because if you go to Ghana, it's not like that. If you go to Tanzania, it's not like that. If you go to Kenya, far ahead of us. We have mistakenly agreed or taken that soils are inexhaustible. In fact, in those days, in the time of the regions, there was an expression that the soils in the northern Nigeria are inexhaustible. But from what we are seeing today, it is not correct. Population has grown and will continue to grow. The space will continue to diminish. So I want to thank the NIS and the OCP for this exercise. The soils we are talking about is a living entity. A living entity indeed. And it is the entity because it is living. That's why it sustains life on earth. I challenge some people. Earth is one of the planets. Visit the other ones and see whether you are going to see soil. You may see materials, some materials, but there are no soils because there's no life there. We need to take care of our soils in anything we are doing, especially in the area of food production. Without food, it is impossible for life to exist. Water is needed, quite right. Air is needed, quite right. But without food, it is highly impossible. And where do we produce the food? On the soils. Somebody was trying to tell me about the hydroponic. Let me tell you, all those things are they are man-made and will suffer what man makes. Suffer the same way. They are trying to produce human beings, but those human beings being produced will be very different from
the ones that God prepared through the biological ways. Now, what am I trying to say? We need to know our soils. We need to manage the soils. I can remember in those days, or just some years ago, there was an organization known as NISDAP, Northeast Arizona Development Project. They so managed the soils in the Northeast that we almost arrested desert encroachment. Almost. How do we do it? Just called upon the scientists around. University of Maiduguri was almost, there was the famous university around that place. Kano was just starting. Zaria was too far. So Center for Arizona Studies was situated in Maiduguri. They made use of the soil scientists. Now, what were we doing? We went, worked with the farmers, looked at their soils, made experiments with the farmers, taught them how to use, apply fertilizers, crop experiments done with the farmers. In fact, NISDAP almost stopped hunger, almost stopped poverty in the Northeast, if not because of political disagreement between the sponsors, EU, and the Nigerian government there. It was not simple. Getting the scientists, they got scientists from Europe and then got some scientists from Nigeria. That is the same thing we are trying to do now. Look at the soils. What do they need? What do they require? And fought aridity. We incorporated, every farmer had what to do. The herders, there was a little problem at the initial stage. The herders were a problem, but it was solved. Because we had to make the farmers understand that food items, the animals need food, need water. So we incorporated them into land use, how to manage, how we want to farm. We attach them to there and graze. Only when they divide habitat, and then you fertilize the animals, you fertilize the ground. Then NISDAP will come in and then harrow or plow the whole place to incorporate the disease. We're using more of organic fertilizers or we combine the organic fertilizers with the inorganic fertilizers. Unfortunately, Boko Haram came in, and that was the sort of place. Students, once they graduate from there, they go back to their villages and work in the farms with the modern technology given to them. And that is what we're supposed to be doing in Nigeria today. The population is growing very fast, very fast. The land is not increasing. Instead, the land space for farming is decreasing because of the population. So please, this is a good arrangement. Fertilizers cannot be used indiscriminately. You have to know. It is like you eating food. You don't go to the restaurant and then start eating food full of salt or without salt. It is impossible. Or drink tea. Drink tea that they put salt into it. No. The food must be in a way that will nourish the human body. And that is what soil requires. We should understand our soils. Understand the type of fertilizer that we are going to give to it. We just don't apply fertilizers blindly like that. Blanket application. NPK, you see the farmers applying. You need to understand what type of soil is this? What are the limitations? What does the soil require? What do the plants need before you start making a fertilizer? Fertilizer should not be the same thing you apply in a wet area. You apply the same thing in a dry area. Or what you apply in beans, you go and apply it in maize. No. All these plants need their type of fertilizers. And we have to understand the soil before we make the fertilizers. So I want to thank this for this. I want to thank OCP. Please, we need to work hand in hand. And again, it's unfortunate. I expected that NADA should be here. NADA should be here. They are now trying to create farmers or help farmers in the different states. But they need to work with NIST. They need to work with FDLR, because we are fighting the same war against hunger, a war against environmental degradation. Thank you very much.
We thank Professor Nwaka for his in-depth explanation on the importance of soil. We heard that soil is a living thing. It moves very slowly, changing and growing all the time. And just like every other living thing, soil breathes and it needs air and water to stay alive. Thank you very much, Professor Nwaka, once more. At this juncture, I'd like to call on OCP Africa to take the floor to tell us more about themselves and what they are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for OCP Africa.
Good afternoon once again. Donald Maduko is my name. I want to stand on existing or already established protocols. While we are seated, and we would like to tell you a little more about OCP Africa. We know and understand that the name OCP is becoming a household name, but a lot of other persons who have not dealt with us closely may not understand what OCP is all about. Some people mistake the OCP for OPC and other things. Yeah. It is okay. OCP is just an acronym whose which meaning is a phosphate police, or the custodian of phosphate. In French, they said it's Office Chérifien de Phosphate, which means the office in charge of phosphate. OCP Africa is a subsidiary of a Moroccan company, which has been involved in the business of phosphate mining and production of the derivatives of phosphate for over 100 years now, trying to concentrate in Africa, trying to bring tailored solutions to Africa. The subsidiary OCP Africa was conceived in 2016. As important as Nigeria is, in that same 2016, OCP Africa came to Nigeria. They registered as an entity. And since then, OCP Africa has tried to not stand as a company who is interested in making of it what we know. OCP Africa have shown committed efforts to better the lot of Nigerian farmers through development of the entire agricultural space. OCP has been involved in a lot of activities cutting across education, research, market development, and quality product introduction. What am I trying to say? We looked inwards and we looked around Nigeria and we saw that apart from providing the farm inputs, maybe the fertilizer, there are other factors that are affecting the farmers' productivity, especially education. Education affects the farmers so much. When they don't know the right to use the fertilizer, and the farmers do not know the right quantity to use, or even how to place the fertilizer, or where to get these inputs, or what a good or quality input is, OCP came up with an initiative we call the Agri-Booster, which is end-to-end initiative that brought different partners, input partners, financiers, off-takers, and all that. So with the Agri-Booster, the market is ready for the farmer, the education is there for them, and the input is already provided. And then the farmers were happy. They got loans to get inputs, and they paid back. And it was a success in the first year. And since then, OCP have continued to assist farmers through that initiative. And we have reached over 60,000 farmers through the Agri-Booster project as of today. And we are still moving on. When we looked at again, we found out that Nigeria is an agrarian community. However, where the core agricultural activities are happening, there has been a lot of difficulties for the farmers to access quality inputs at the right time. Sometimes inputs arrive after planting or during weeding or during, when they're about to harvest. It's a major problem. And sometimes the farmers don't go to the field when they're supposed to because they've not seen the seeds, they've not seen fertilizer. So OCP Africa decided to create what we used to call a one-stop shop. We call it Farm and Fortune Help. This one-stop shop is meant to serve underserved areas in these hinterlands, provide them with farm inputs, not just fertilizers. We collaborate with other partners who provide seeds, quality seeds, who provide chemicals, the crop protection products. They're also available. And also we incorporate training in these centers so that farmers can be taught how and when to use all these inputs. We did not just provide them for them. Apart from providing these farm and fortune hubs, we looked at it. Okay, even though we have cited this hub, it's hard to keep away from this method. So we come up with what we call the agri-promoters. Today, the agri-promoters are an extension of the Farm and Fortune Hub. All they do is to further drive down the inputs to other communities. And as well, they work as extension agents as well because they are trained to provide farmers with information, guidance through the farming season. And today we are looking at, we have about 54 of these Farm and Fortune hubs, and OCP is looking forward to distributing this across the country. We're looking at about 500 of these by the end of 2025, by the grace of God. And it's a place we don't hope to run ourselves. It's going to, we're thinking out how we are going to manage this with partners and then make sure it does not derail from the objectives as we progress. CP did not just do that. We have been working with local institutions to make sure that we provide performance fertilizers that are tailored to ecologists around the country. And a lot of us will attest to that. Some research institutes have been working with us closely, and like the Institute of Agricultural Research and Training in Ibadan, like the NIFOR, the NIHOT, the CREAM. We've been working together. And then we've been trying to bring different solutions to various farmers' problems that are perceived within the country. We have a lot of other functions we do that are tailored. We call them farmer-centric projects. Like we mentioned in the commitment speech, we have our school lab. And to support the school lab, last year, OCP, in collaboration with ATBU Bauchi, trained 20 young leaders who were equipped or empowered with digital soil testing kits. And they were given training that cut across soil testing, sampling testing, and the interpretation of results recommendation, and to even marketing and other aspects of agriculture, because they will be liaising with farmers. They will move around the community. That program, IME, was actually created to empower youths who have strong desire in agriculture, who need to make a living out of it. It is not a free for service initiative. The youths are expected to conduct soil tests, recommendation at a fee that is affordable by farmers in rural communities. And also, we are looking at expanding this email so that across the zones, we will have them work farmers. All the production are also in line with what we are discussing today. Part of other projects we do today includes strengthening capacities of blending plants through training, which we have conducted the first in 2019, and last year we could not due to the COVID situation. We bring experts to talk to blending plants and on issues bordering on micronutrients and others as it affects fertilizer production and food enhancement with all these micronutrients. We also have decided a long time now to show a blending, a state-of-the-art blending plant in Nigeria. And in collaboration with some state governments, we have cited one in Ogun State, another in Kaduna, and the third is ongoing also in Sokoto State. Hopefully, by the end of this year, we should have opened one of the blending plants so that we can champion, as well as we have been doing, the blending of specialty fertilizer formulations. Talking about specialty formulations, in conjunction with IITA and AFSIS in 2016, 2017, and 2018, we were able to develop performance fertilizer for maize production. This we did across about 8 maize growing states in Nigeria. And the formulation came about through extensive soil sampling, analysis, and all that. We have the results. We don't mind, we'll share with you. We'll communicate with blended plants as well. Today, we have other projects running that are bigger than this office now, that will be discussed in future dates as we progress with the planning. OCP Africa believes so much in Africa. OCP Africa believes so much in Nigeria. OCP Africa believes that together we will feed the soil and our planet will nourish. Thank you very much. Thank you for sitting. I hope that at this point we know a little more about OCP Africa beyond the name. OCP is committed to Nigeria agriculture. Thank you very much. Good. I just be reminded of one important thing I shouldn't forget. Sorry, don't penalize me. Okay, to further inform farmers and bring stakeholders to deliberate and provide solutions to farmers' problems, we have created a television show we call Farm and Fortune. It's a television show that was created as a way of reaching the farmers even in the COVID situation. Even when we are restricted, we cannot go out, we cannot go to the field, we cannot call farmers together as we used to do in our school lab, we can still reach them through the media. So we have created, we started with a pilot of 6 episodes of television show and about 39 episodes of a radio drama and farm tips, daily tips we give in the morning and evening across about 7 radio stations in Nigeria. The television show is usually on NTA every Monday, 5:30 p.m. But the first season is over. We are working on the second season, and we are doing this in partnership with all our collaborators, the IRT, the FIS, NIS, and other partners who have the same burning desire to make sure our farmers succeed, to make sure that food production in Nigeria surpasses self-sufficiency. And I will urge you all to look out for Farm and Fortune Season 2 and always tune into the radio stations who publish the frequencies so that you can tune in and listen to the Farmers Daily and also the radio dramas every Saturday. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, more round of applause for Dr. Donald Madikwe. Thank you, Dr. Donald Madikwe, for telling us more about OCP and Africa and all that you do. And from the activities of OCP Africa enumerated by you, I can only say that OCP Africa has become a household name in Nigeria. Thank you very much. I am told that lunch will be served in a few minutes. So while we, what's the name? Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is served. But before we step out to the left side of the hall, just outside the hall here, let's take the vote of thanks from Professor B.A. Raji, President, Soil Science Society of Nigeria.
Thank you. Well, I'm not to give any speech. I'm just to thank everyone here for coming and for being part of this Inception workshop. That would be very simple, but that would be quite unfair on my part just to do that. Personally, as the president, we owe it a duty to OCP Africa. When Dr. Donald Madikwe was giving us more information on the activities of OCP, you will notice that they came into the country just 2016. And within a short period of, let's say, 5 years, they've already become a household
name. Please let's clap for them. As Soil Science Society of Nigeria, Mr. Oluwatoba Asana, in the commitment speech, page 2, second to the last paragraph, mentions some of their activities. But let me include one activity which to me is very, very important, but is omitted, which is capacity building of young soil scientists at our conferences. Please, let's appreciate. For the past 2-3 years, OCP has always supported young soil scientists to our conferences. 20 of them attended last year. And I think you should include that as part of your annual responsibilities. We quite appreciate you, and we wish that you continue to prosper. So on behalf of all of us, stakeholders in the soil science profession, soil science business, we want to thank OCP from the top, the country representative, through the person we see always, Dr. Donald, and everyone for the good job you are doing in the field of soil science, fertilizer formulation, and a host of others, which you have mentioned. I also think we should express our appreciation to the National Assembly. They've always been part of not only making law to better the agricultural sector, but they've always supported all these initiatives physically. And those who are not here are also appreciated. For let's appreciate Honorable Menero Dan Agundi. He was here last week. He's also here. He stayed throughout last week. He's also staying throughout. So thank you very much. Please extend our appreciation to other chairmen of various committees in the National Assembly. We also appreciate the consultant, Professor Ayu Abubakar, to that committee for being here. We'll go to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. That is the host, the executive part. So we use that to appreciate the executive arm of the government using their ACTA, the Agricultural Transformation Agenda. We know in the last 4 or 5 years, agriculture has witnessed a lot of boost. We begin to have the pyramid back. And I think with this, we'll have more pyramids, more processing plants. So through the Federal Ministry of Agri, the Permanent Secretary, and the Director of our own host department, and other directors that are here, we want to appreciate you for your commitment to make this program and project successful. All honorable commissioners, there are several of them that were listed, but we want to appreciate the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Agriculture, Kaduna State, who is represented here by the Director of Agri Services, Mr. Kasimu, and to others, commissioners who could not make it, but who, one way or the other, are going to be part and parcel of this project. We thank you and we appreciate you all. Then to NIS, council members, soil scientists, HODs, deans that are here, and those who are not yet. There are various stakeholders, the directors and the several research institutes in the various geopolitical zones that are going to be part of this project. We all appreciate all of you, and we pray that this becomes successful. Lastly, but not the least, I appreciate all of you, all the stakeholders, everyone that is present here, all the media that have covered this event since morning. And we want to, lastly but not the least, appreciate Almighty God, who has made it possible for all these activities to come to fruition. We pray that they continue to support us and they continue to enrich the sponsors of this program. To all, we pray in His name. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Raji, for your vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the program. And just before we step out for lunch, may we rise and take the second stanza of the national anthem as the national prayer. Shall we rise, please? O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true. Great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reigns. Thank you very much. Please, we allow our dignitaries on the high table to step out for the lunch first, then we can follow.
What are you? Congratulations. Fine. It was a wonderful play. I can't wait.
President. Oh, no. No, you register me. When are you going? Bowen University. Where is it?
You will now.
You. Okay. We'll try to come. Yes, we'll try to come. Yes. I thought all these universities that were advertised.
Where is this one? It came last week. I told you to take it. What is
Oh, you guys said this it's a loss for me. I have to read that today. So, that's exactly. I'm not sure so you can get to people
Fine. Oh, don't they get better? Thank you. Amen. My daughter came to color. Okay. So, what do you want to do now? Don't smoke now. Okay. Okay, because
Hello? Da shigo ka ci abinci.
Because this is your phone. This is your phone.
Ka shigo za a ga layin abinci sai ka